Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Royal Rumble review. So the Rumble just ended an hour ago. It is 12:15 as I'm recording this. It's Monday morning here, and the reason why I'm doing this review late here is because I checked out the WWE Icons documentary series. It just debuted on the WWE Network right after the Royal Rumble, and they did this documentary on late Yokozuna. So, been wanted to check it out. This WWE Icons is going to be a docu-series on the network. Really looking forward to the next one that they do. But like I said, checked out this one that they did on Yokozuna, and it was really good. It was a really good documentary on Yokozuna here. I would recommend if you guys want to check it out, check out this new documentary series, WWE Icons on the network. Definitely give this one that they did on Yokozuna a watch. Very good. Very well done documentary on Yokozuna. So I would definitely recommend you guys go and check it out on the network. And I'm looking forward to more of what they are going to do with WWE Icons. Taking a look at superstars. Their superstars. Who they consider icons. So, but would recommend that. So, but on to the Royal Rumble, and I gotta say, this year's Royal Rumble, it was a good show. I enjoyed this year's Rumble, and there were a few problems, but not a whole lot. Though you will hear me give positive things about this show. There was, like I said, little problems, little bits, not too much to complain about, though, but very positive things coming out of the Royal Rumble tonight. So, but let's jump right into the review. Going to start with the match that was on the Kickoff show, and it was for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte Flair and Asuka. And this was basically just a meh match, in my opinion. Did not care for the match. We had the match start off with Shayna Baszler and Charlotte. They end up locking up. We had Charlotte end up taking Shayna Baszler down with a headlock. Charlotte ended up leveling Shayna Baszler with the shoulder. Asuka ended up coming in, and her and Charlotte end up double teaming on Shayna Baszler. And Asuka ended up taking Shayna Baszler down, started kicking Shayna Baszler. And of course, there was a point in the match where you had Ric Flair come out. Ric Flair ended up, coming out. We had Lacey Evans trying to distract Charlotte from the ring apron. She ended up retreating. Charlotte ended up applying the figure four to Shayna Baszler, but Lacey Evans ended up breaking it up. The referee didn't even see it. So Charlotte ended up taking out Lacey Evans through the ropes. Baszler then locked in the Carafita clutch on Charlotte. And we had Ric Flair end up checking on Lacey Evans at ringside. Charlotte ended up dropping Shayna Baszler and applied the figure four once again. But Lacey Evans ended up hitting Charlotte with the woman's right, and she had a object that Ric Flair ended up giving to her. So Nia Jax ended up coming in, delivered the leg drop on Charlotte. There you go. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler end up winning the match, and they are the new women's tag team champions once again. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. But overall, the match was just a very meh match in my opinion. Did not care for it. It was quite boring in my opinion. So that was the match that was on the Kickoff show. But now I'm going to move into the regular matches that were on the card. And I gotta say, I like the intro to the Royal Rumble for this year. I liked how they had the in the intro the spotlights, which made it look like the Batman symbol that they use, like in the Batman films, the spotlight. Only just had the RR initials for the Royal Rumble. Thought that was cool. Showed clips from previous years Royal Rumble matches. You saw when John Cena ended up appearing and returning in the 2008 Royal Rumble, which was from Madison Square Garden, which was one of the greatest Royal Rumble moments, where John Cena returned at number 30. We saw a clip of that. So, but really like the intro for this year's Royal Rumble. So then the pay-per-view opened. We went into the Thunderdome at Tropicana Field. And the first match to open the show was Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the WWE Championship. And when they announced that McIntyre and Goldberg were starring the show, I'm like, oh my God, WWE wants to torture us right now as the show opens. But I'm like, you know what? This is them just trying to have the match and get it over with fast. The match was in my opinion, but the bell didn't end up ringing because as soon as the referee turned his back to give the timekeeper the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre ended up headbutting Goldberg and then delivered a spear to Goldberg. They went out of the ring. You had Goldberg end up launching Drew McIntyre into the ring steps. So Goldberg then ended up charging and ended up sending McIntyre flying through the barricade with the spear. So Goldberg then got back to the ring, and the referee was checking on Drew McIntyre, which, like I said, the match didn't even start yet. So McIntyre ended up getting back into the ring. He was shown clutching on his ribs. McIntyre ended up telling the referee to ring the bell. But Goldberg ended up charging, and McIntyre ended up taking out Goldberg. So, and this is when the match started. So the referee ended up ringing the bell. So McIntyre then ended up nailing a Claymore kick to Goldberg, went for the cover, and Goldberg ended up kicking out two. So McIntyre tried to go for another Claymore, but Goldberg ended up ducking, and Goldberg then delivered a spear. So Goldberg was shown waiting in the corner for McIntyre to get back up to his feet. Goldberg then delivered another spear, but McIntyre ended up kicking out. Goldberg then ended up calling to hit the jackhammer slam, but he ended up delivering a knee to McIntyre. And then Goldberg then delivered the jackhammer slam, and he went for the cover. McIntyre kicked out of the jackhammer slam, which Goldberg couldn't believe it. So Goldberg then went for a spear in the corner, but McIntyre ended up moving. So McIntyre ended up delivering the Claymore as Goldberg slowly turned around, and that's when McIntyre ended up hitting the Claymore. There you go. McIntyre went for the cover. There you go. McIntyre ended up winning the match, retaining the WWE Championship. Post-match, we had Goldberg. He walked over to McIntyre. He was showing respect to McIntyre. Both Goldberg and McIntyre ended up shaking hands. Goldberg ended up raising McIntyre's hand. And that was basically that. But overall, the match was just very meh, in my opinion. It was just nothing but Claymore, spear, jackhammer, Claymore. That was the match. So then we had Sasha Banks versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a solid match here. Wasn't a bad match. We had Carmella end up coming out along with, of course, her sommelier, Reginald. We saw clips of what led to the match. We saw a clip of course, when Sasha Banks ended up defeating Reginald 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, which was a god-awful match. So we saw that. And then we had Kayla Braxton backstage. She was interviewing Sasha before Sasha made her way out. So Sasha ended up laughing at the idea of the odds being stacked against her. She ended up saying, because when you're the best, you find the way to win. Sasha ended up saying that she is ready for Carmella and Reginald's tricks, because in the end, she will be the one drinking the finest champagne of Carmella's tears. And she ended up saying that she's looking forward to defending the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So then Sasha ended up making her entrance, and then the match got underway. So the match started with Carmella ended up blocking a bank statement, and she ended up going out of the ring to regroup. She ended up coming back into the ring. They ended up going back and forth. Sasha then delivered a slap to Carmella. So Sasha ended up warning Reginald that she's watching him. So Sasha kept control of the match, and Reginald ended up getting on the ring apron. Sasha ended up sending Reginald off to the floor, and that caused a distraction, which led to Carmella to take over the match. So Carmella ended up leaping off Reginald's back at ringside, and she ended up clotheslining Sasha against the announce table. Carmella then delivered back elbows in the corner to Sasha. She ended up taking Sasha to the corner, tied her up on the ropes. So Carmella ended up coming back into the ring, and she ended up stalling, which allowed Sasha to attack Carmella. We saw Carmella then end up running into an elbow in the corner. She ended up turning it back around. Sasha then went up to the top, delivered the Meteora onto Carmella, but she landed hard on her knee. So she hurt her knee there. And there was also a point where Carmella ended up tossing Sasha out of the ring, and Reginald ended up catching Sasha. Sasha then ended up countering that, and she ended up sending Reginald flying with the head scissors. Sasha then ended up rocking Reginald. So then, because of that, the referee ended up ejecting Reginald from ringside. So then we saw Carmella end up nailing a suicide dive to Sasha, which was very brutal, because when Carmella ended up delivering that suicide dive to Sasha, she went face first to the floor. So Carmella then brought Sasha back into the ring. Carmella was arguing with the referee on how he sent Reginald to the back. Sasha then rolled Carmella into a 2 count. And at the end of the match, we had Sasha end up blocking in the bank statement. Carmella ended up tapping out. So there you go. Sasha ended up winning the match, retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship. So that was that. But overall, it was a solid match. It wasn't a bad match from Sasha and Carmella. And then we had the New Day, Xavier Woods and Big E backstage. Big E was asking about Xavier Woods' recent beatdowns by Retribution. Big E ended up asking Xavier Woods for 60 minutes so they can be rewarded by the wrestling gods. So Sami Zayn then interrupts them. Of course, he has his film crew, his documentary film crew behind him. Sami Zayn ended up saying that the wrestling gods already did enough when they gave Big E his Intercontinental Championship. So Kofi Kingston ended up jumping in out of nowhere. He was revealing his return because he had the jaw injury. So Kofi, Xavier, and Big E, they end up disrespecting Sami Zayn, and they laughed him off. Kofi ended up revealing that he is not cleared yet, and that wasn't going to stop him from representing and wearing his new gear that they have, that the New Day have. So Kofi ended up going on about supporting each other and reminds Xavier and Big E of the rule that says when one of them wins the Royal Rumble, they all win the Royal Rumble. So that was that. But, Kofi made an appearance here tonight, revealing that, he's returned from, his jaw injury, but he is still not cleared to compete. And then we went to the performance by Bad Bunny. He had Booker T out there, which I didn't watch this. I went and got some food, came back, and it was over already. And then we had the Women's Royal Rumble match, which I'm going to read off the 30 women that competed here. Number 1 was Bayley, which I knew Bayley was going to be the number 1 to come out for the Rumble. She was my pick to win the Women's Rumble. So she came out at number 1. The number 2 spot that came out was Naomi. And Naomi has been out for a while. So it was good to see her return here in the number 2 spot at the Rumble. Number 3 was Bianca Belair. Many people said that, if Bayley did not win or got eliminated, their picks were Bianca. That was my other pick, for Bianca to win the Rumble if Bayley got eliminated. So she came out at number 3. Number 4 was Billie Kay, which Billie Kay here, she did absolutely nothing as she came out. She was on commentary for the majority of 15 minutes after she came out. So it was a waste of a number 4 spot. And at number 5, we had Shotzi Blackheart from NXT. The I had to do that because that's what Shotzi does when she comes out. Shotzi does it much better. So I'm a fan of Shotzi Blackheart. She's an amazing talent. So number 6 was Shayna Baszler. 7 was Toni Storm, another good talent from NXT. Love Toni Storm. Number 8 was a surprise entry return in the Rumble, and that was Jillian Hall. Yeah, we all remember Jillian Hall. She had that singing gimmick that she had, which made all of our ears fucking bleed because she was terrible at singing. Yeah, we all remember Jillian Hall at that time. And this was when Billie Kay ended up getting in. Her and Jillian end up, taking out some of the women there in the Rumble. And at number 9, we had Ruby Riott. 10 was another surprise return, and it was Victoria. It was awesome to see Victoria in the Rumble match here. Although I wish WWE would have used her old theme song that she came out to. The theme song that she came out to here was slightly remixed. I wish they would have gave her old theme song, because that's the one that I remember. Number 11 was Peyton Royce. There was a point there where Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, of course, were taking out the woman there, and Peyton Royce did Iconic, but Billie Kay didn't do it because she had her eye on I think Ruby Riott, and then Peyton Royce was like, "Why you didn't do the Iconic?" Like, she was like, so she came out at number 11, Peyton Royce. 12 was Santana Garrett, which I completely forgot Santana Garrett was still employed, because they rarely use her on NXT. Number 13 was Liv Morgan. 14, Rhea Ripley from NXT. Rhea Ripley, I am a fan of Rhea Ripley. She is awesome in the ring. Now, she had the match last year with Charlotte, and there was talks about Rhea Ripley being brought up to the main roster, which it was talks that she was going to come up. Who knows when? Maybe she'll be up after WrestleMania. I don't think she's done in NXT just yet. So, but 14 was Rhea Ripley. 15, and we all groaned at this. I know a lot of you probably have groaned at the number 15 spot, which was Charlotte Flair. 16 was Dana Brooke. 17, Torrie Wilson. 18, and we all thought Ric Flair right here was going to compete in the Women's Rumble, which I laughed at, which I would have laughed at. I laughed at when he came out because I'm like, Ric Flair competed in the Women's Rumble, and then all of a sudden Lacey Evans came out. So 18 was Lacey Evans. 19 was Mickie James. Mickie James returning. I haven't seen Mickie James in a while. Number 20 was Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is another one that hasn't been on TV in a while. So it was good to see Nikki Cross return. Number 21 was Alicia Fox. And this was where I had a little problem with the Women's Rumble here. I actually have 2 problems that happened here during the Women's Rumble. Right when Alicia Fox came out, we had, of course, R-Truth. R-Truth and the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. I'm like, did we really need R-Truth out here? And then you had the whole circus of guys come out to chase R-Truth for the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. And then you had Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox rolled up R-Truth. And Alicia Fox ended up winning the 24/7 title, which eventually R-Truth ended up getting back, which he pinned Alicia Fox. and won the title back. I'm like, did we really need this shit during the Women's Rumble? No. It was not needed. Another problem that we saw in this match was the camera wasn't focused on Bayley when she was eliminated. Yes, Bayley was eliminated, and we didn't get to see it until they played the replay of it, because of course they didn't cut to the camera guy to catch Bayley getting eliminated. We had to wait until the replay to see Bayley get eliminated. So right from there, I'm like, all right, my pick to win the Women's Rumble is not happening, because I went with Bayley, considering I'm a huge Bayley fan. Hugest fan of Bayley. She's just, a good talent in the ring. Longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. So, but anyways, with Bayley end up getting eliminated, I'm like, you know what? They're going to give it to Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was my other pick to win the Women's Rumble if Bayley got eliminated. But just R-Truth and them not showing Bayley get eliminated until we saw the replay, those are the only two problems that I had during the Women's Rumble. So we left off at Alicia Fox at 21, and they end up, Michael Cole, I think, said on commentary that, oh yeah, Alicia Fox is a legend. Alicia Fox is not a legend, unless you count her as a jobber legend, because that's all Alicia Fox was. So 22 was Mandy Rose. 23 was Dakota Kai from NXT. Love Dakota Kai. She's awesome in the ring. And at number 24, Carmella. 25 was Tamina. 26 was Lana. Lana made her return. 27 was Alexa Bliss, which she ended up getting eliminated. When she got eliminated, it prevented her from going into another trans. We could have saw, Alexa Bliss as, regular Alexa Bliss, or, that other trans where she's wearing the black lipstick. Luckily, they eliminated her, and we didn't get to see either of those Alexa Bliss transitions. Number 28 was Ember Moon. Ember Moon from NXT. 29 was Nia Jax. And at number 30 was Natalya, which they ended up spoiling on Backstage last night, WWE Backstage on FS1, which thankfully I did not watch. I didn't want to get spoiled from some of the entries in the Rumble matches. But I did get spoiled with Natalya being number 30 because it was on social media. But it came down to Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Those are the three that it came down to towards the end of the Rumble. We had Bianca and Rhea Ripley. They end up eliminating Charlotte, which Charlotte didn't even get phased by being eliminated. She just had a smile on her face. And then it was down to Bianca and Rhea Ripley. I had to mention one part of the match where Naomi, another year where she doesn't want to get eliminated that quickly, where she ended up using her back, and she ended up using Bianca Belair's hair to get back into the ring, which I thought that was very cool to see. But it came down to Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley and Bianca was like, oh yeah, let's get back into the ring. Quickly, gently. So Then we had Bianca end up eliminating Rhea Ripley. And there you go. Bianca Belair ended up winning the Women's Rumble for this year. She's going to WrestleMania. So WWE went with the right woman to win the Women's Rumble, which I am happy for Bianca. She truly deserves the win and gets to go to WrestleMania. So, but really happy for Bianca. Post-match, Charlie Caruso ended up entering the ring to get an interview with Bianca. Bianca was very emotional, and she ended up saying that she's been telling everyone, and she showed everyone, and that she's going to be the EST at WrestleMania. She ended up giving a shout out to her parents. She also gave a shout out to her husband, Montez Ford, ended up saying that she did it. So, Bianca, like I said, was very emotional. She ended up pointing up at the WrestleMania sign. The the fireworks are going off. And of course, it's the time of year where you're going to get superstars pointing to the WrestleMania sign. It's WrestleMania sign pointing season. So, because we are on the road to WrestleMania. So, but really happy for Bianca winning the Rumble, going to WrestleMania. And I think we might be getting that dream match now, because everybody's been wanting this dream match. They've been wanting to see Bianca and Sasha go at it, and looks like we're finally going to get that at WrestleMania, where Bianca's going to challenge Sasha for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The championship's going to be on the line at WrestleMania. So we're going to be getting that dream match. And I think it's going to be a very good match between Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania, with the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. So, but overall, this was a very fun Women's Rumble. And then we went to The Miz and Morrison backstage. They end up approaching Bad Bunny. Miz and Morrison end up congratulating Bad Bunny on his performance. So the Miz and Morrison end up wanting Bad Bunny to join them. Bad Bunny was not interested in joining them. So Miz and Morrison end up taking shots at Booker T, and Booker T end up appearing behind the Miz and Morrison. So Booker end up saying, "Tell me you did not just say that." So Miz and Morrison end up walking off, and that was that. Oh, and then we had Charlie Caruso, Sonya Deville, JBL, and Peter Rosenberg on the panel, because they were doing the panel during the Kickoff show. And we had R-Truth end up appearing. Rosenberg end up tricking R-Truth. He ended up telling him John Cena is in the building. Rosenberg ended up distracting R-Truth, and he ended up low-blowing R-Truth from behind. Rosenberg then ended up pinning R-Truth, and Peter Rosenberg is the new Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 champion. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Can we get this title off of TV? Can we retire this title, please? It's not funny anymore. Whenever it's on TV, I'm like, oh my God, why is this title still on TV? So then we had Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, last man standing match for the Universal Championship. This was a very good match. This was the best match of the night, in my opinion. So we had the match start off. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns were brawling, and Kevin Owens was trying to go for the stunner. Roman ended up reversing it and deliver a Superman punch, but he couldn't hit Kevin Owens. Reigns then ended up hitting the Superman punch, so he connected it to Kevin Owens right there. So Kevin Owens ended up getting back up. Reigns ended up attacking Kevin Owens, but Owens ended up nailing the pop-up powerbomb out of nowhere to Reigns. Reigns went to the floor to regroup, and Kevin Owens ended up charging at Reigns, but Reigns ended up getting Kevin Owens up on his shoulders. Owens ended up fighting out and sending Reigns into the ring post, which Reigns ended up going face first into the ring post. And then Reigns ended up sending Kevin Owens shoulder first into the ring steps. So Reigns then ended up ramming half of the ring steps into Kevin Owens, and it dropped him to the bottom of the ramp. We had Owens end up slamming Reigns face first into the LED boards where the crowd in the Thunderdome appear on. So we had Owens end up dropping Reigns with a step shot, which knocked him onto a table. And Reigns then ended up sending Owens face first into the LED board. And they step up to another level in the crowd on the LED board. Reigns ended up knocking Owens over the LED board onto another platform. And we had Reigns end up trying to climb over the LED board, but Owens ended up super kicking Reigns. Owens ended up bringing a chair over, and Owens ended up started hitting Reigns' knee with chair shots. He then ended up hitting a chair over Reigns' back. So Reigns ended up turning it back around, delivered chair shots to Kevin Owens, and Owens ended up dropping Reigns with a stunner. Reigns came back up and delivered a Superman punch. And just like a few weeks ago on SmackDown, where we had Reigns end up tossing Kevin Owens off the platform, and Kevin Owens went through a table, same thing happened here. Reigns ended up tossing Kevin Owens off the platform, and Owens ended up going through tables. And there was a point where Owens and Reigns went to the back of Tropicana Field, where we saw a ring was set up. I guess that's where the superstars work out before they film, either Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. And we had Kevin Owens standing. He ended up crawling. Finally got back up at a 9 count. And Reigns ended up driving this golf cart into Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens ended up leaping into the golf cart, and it shattered the fake glass. And I'm like, I've seen this before. Where did I see this before? Oh yeah, Double or Nothing from last year, AEW, the Stadium Stampede with the Elite and the Inner Circle, where Matt Hardy was driving the golf cart, chasing after Sammy Guevara, and Sammy Guevara just ended up going into the golf cart. And, there's people saying, oh, WWE doesn't watch AEW. They're not taking lessons from AEW. Yeah, they are. This pretty much proved it. This pretty much proved that WWE is watching what AEW does. But yeah, that's where they got it from. We've seen this in the Stadium Stampede from Double or Nothing. And there was also a point where Kevin Owens ended up getting on this forklift. He raises the forklift up, climbs on top of the forklift, and delivers a awesome, great looking senton off of the forklift and onto Reigns. And he went through the table. Kevin Owens went through the table and took out Reigns. And I thought that was pretty That was pretty cool. It was an awesome looking senton off of the forklift. And there was a point where Roman was handcuffed to the portion where the lights are, where the stage lights are, and you had Paul Heyman coming over and trying to unlock the handcuffs off of Reigns. And there was a botch here where the referee was counting, and when Paul Heyman was trying to take the handcuffs off of Reigns, the referee stopped counting. Like, right there, you knew that Roman was going to win. So we had Roman end up winning. So Roman wins, still retains the Universal Championship, where we had Reigns end up locking in the guillotine on Kevin Owens, and that was how Roman ended up win the match and retain the Universal Championship. But post-match, we saw Owens starting to move around. Reigns ended up standing tall with the Universal Championship, and blood was shown coming from his upper lip. Paul Heyman then raised Roman's arm in the air, and Reigns ended up raising the Universal Championship, and that was that. So overall, this was a very good match. It was the best match of the night, in my opinion. I enjoyed the hell out of this match. And then we had a promo for WrestleMania. Looks like they're using the WrestleMania logo from last year. And it was shown, we're just 69 days away from WrestleMania. 69 days away from WrestleMania. They are going to have it at Raymond James Stadium. It's going to be 2 nights. They are going to have fans for both nights at WrestleMania. They're going to announce ticket information soon. So we're going to be seeing fans at WrestleMania. And I'm like, it's about time. It's about time we see some fans at a WWE event. Instead of seeing them on a LED board where they're muted and we get this fake crowd noise that WWE puts out, when we watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown every week, and also a pay-per-view whenever it comes around. So finally, we're going to get to see fans at WrestleMania. It's not going to be a whole lot. It's going to be a socially distant WrestleMania. So WWE is going to be watching the Super Bowl with the fans that they have for the Super Bowl next week, to see how many fans that they're going to have for WrestleMania. So they're going to be keeping a close eye on the Super Bowl next week. And then we went to the main event, which was the men's Royal Rumble. So we had, at number 1, we had Edge coming out at number 1. Number 2 was Randy Orton. And when Randy Orton came out, I'm like, what happened to his burns on his face that we saw on Monday Night Raw? Where his face was all burned, it was all red. I'm like, is WWE trying to make us forget that Randy Orton was burned by Alexa Bliss with the fireball that Alexa Bliss launched at Randy Orton, weeks ago on Monday Night Raw? And he showed up on Monday Night Raw this week with the burns on his face. It was all red. I'm like, is WWE trying to make us forget that he had burns on his face? Because Randy Orton didn't have burns on his face tonight. So yeah, we didn't see the burns on Randy Orton's face tonight. So at number 3, it was Sami Zayn 4 was Mustafa Ali. Number 5 was Jeff Hardy. 6 was Dolph Ziggler. 7 was Shinsuke Nakamura. And number 8, it was I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Carlito. It was good to see Carlito again. It's been, a decade since he was last in WWE? So it's cool to see Carlito again. He still has it in the ring. So, and number 9, it was Xavier Woods. Number 10, it was Big E. 11 was John Morrison. 12 was Ricochet. 13, Elias. Number 14 was Damian Priest from NXT, the Archer. I'm a fan of Damian Priest. Very talented guy in the ring. Enjoy his matches in NXT. I love the whole the whole gimmick with the with the arch that he does, where he mimics like the arch, and then he goes like that, and his name lights up on the screen. That's pretty cool how he does that. Number 15 was The Miz, and when The Miz came out, he went over to Bad Bunny's setup that was there. He ends up destroying it, and later on, Bad Bunny ended up coming out, and Miz and Morrison were eliminated. Bad Bunny went to the top and jumped off the top and took out Miz and Morrison and went to the back. So Bad Bunny is trying to get his Royal Rumble moment out. So Miz was number 15. 16 was Matt Riddle. Yes, I'm calling him Matt Riddle, not Riddle. 17 was Daniel Bryan, who was my pick to win the Rumble. Number 18 was Kane. Yeah, Kane ended up returning for this. We had a little Team Hell No reunion here for a few seconds, where Kane and Daniel Bryan ended up hugging it out. 19 was Corbin. 20 was Otis, which he didn't last long in the match. 21 was Dominic Mysterio. 22 was Bobby Lashley. 23 was the Hurricane, was Hurricane Helms. Stand the back. There's a hurricane coming through. So it was cool to see Hurricane Helms in there. 24 was Christian. Christian came back here for the Rumble. And we had a little Edge and Christian reunion. It was cool to see Edge and Christian in there. They end up hugging it out. So that made for a cool moment there. 25 was AJ Styles. 26 was Rey Mysterio. 27 was Sheamus. 28 was Cesaro. 29 was returning Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins coming back, after him and Becky had their baby. And at number 30, it was Braun Strowman. And of course, the number 30 spots, whenever they came out, the number 30 spots, they don't win the Rumble. So, but Daniel Bryan ended up getting eliminated. So, my pick was Daniel Bryan. So, if I had to choose, it would have been Edge or maybe Sheamus, and also Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was another one that, if he returned, he would also been my other pick if Daniel Bryan ended up getting eliminated from the Rumble. So it was down to Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman and Edge. And Orton was taken out earlier because of his knee. He was selling a knee injury, which I'm like, oh, this is just a whole work, and Orton's going to be back later on in the Rumble. So it came down to Rollins, Edge, and Braun Strowman, and we had Rollins end up again eliminated. Braun Strowman got eliminated, and Edge was thinking that he won the match, but Orton ended up coming out of nowhere. Orton ended up hitting the RKO to Edge, which of course Orton wasn't eliminated from the Rumble. He was just taken out because he was selling the injury, which of course was a work. So Orton came in, RKO'd Edge. Orton and Edge end up going at it, and Edge ended up eliminating Orton. Orton went over the top rope. And there you go. Edge ended up winning the match. Edge is your winner of the 2021 Men's Rumble. So, which I am fine with. I like that Edge won the Rumble match. So, and post-match, we had Edge end up going into the corner. He looked up at the WrestleMania sign, and we had the fireworks and the pyro going off. And that was how the Rumble went off the air, ended. So Edge is your winner of the 2021 Men's Rumble. So have no complaint there. I like that Edge ended up winning the Rumble. So, but overall, the Rumble this year, it was a good show. It was very enjoyable. A few problems here and there, like I explained. But overall, it was an enjoyable show. So anyways, that's it for the Royal Rumble review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, which will be the Monday Night Raw recap and results video, of course, as always, tomorrow night. So until then, see you all tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw.